So Patrick, you're back home in Finland. You have been there for a number of weeks now. How's that been going? How are you doing amongst all this?
Pretty good, thanks. Have been able to stay healthy, me and my family and kind of everybody I know. So lucky that we're healthy and just try to kind of see what happens and just kind of waiting to see what's going on and just try to stay inside and avoid unnecessary contacts with other people. But otherwise, it's going pretty well.
Like the rest of us, it sounds like you're in a wait and see approach. Is there anything that you've been told? I mean, have you been told to be ready to go back by a certain time? What communications have you had as far as the possible resumption of the season?
Not too much, to be honest. Obviously, I'm paying attention a little bit what's going on around the league, and kind of hearing a lot of rumors that's going on, but just waiting to see what's happening. And but yeah, it would be fun to skate, but that's not happening right now. So it'll probably take a while until I'm able to play. But it's the same for everybody, so can't really complain. But hopefully we can practice soon and play hockey soon whenever it's safe.
Patrick, you've got such a young career, really, if you look at it, but so much has happened and you've accomplished so much in such a short time. I wanted to kind of go over your career. I really do think the love affair between Winnipeg Jets fans and Patrik Laine started before you were a Winnipeg Jet. It was one of the first images I have of you, but it was our draft lottery show. And if you remember, you did the interview lying down. I guess you weren't lying down, but very casual. And I think right off the bat, you really resonated with Jets fans just because when you look back on that interview, I don't know how much you think about it anymore, but what do you think about it now that you've got, 4 years of a pro career in the books and you think that's how you came out of the gates?
Yeah, I was just, it looks funny. It usually sometimes pops up when I'm browsing on YouTube and I'm seeing that video. So it kind of looks funny, and I haven't actually watched it because, it looks kind of embarrassing to me. But that's just the way I am, and I wanted to be myself, and I didn't want to just be super tight and wear a suit for that kind of call. I just wanted to be myself and show everybody that I'm that kind of guy, and if you like it, then it's awesome. But if you don't, then too bad.
Are you telling me you Google and YouTube yourself quite a bit?
No, but no, never. No, I sometimes watch my own goals, but if I need some confidence during the summers, but sometimes it pops up.
In that interview, I'm going to read you a quote you said in that interview. You said, "I know what I'm capable of, and I'm not afraid to say it out loud." Now, for us who cover you, we really should have taken that as foreshadowing of the kind of guy you are, because you're not afraid to say what you're capable of. And at the same time, you usually back it up. One thing I learned in talking with you is you're very raw, you're very honest, but you usually don't say things that you can't back up. Where did that bluntness come from?
I think I've always been like that since I remember. I've always, when I was younger in school, I've always said, well, what was going on my mind and what I actually thought of something, and it usually got me to trouble because you can't say certain things, but that's just the way I've always been. That's the way I was built, and I think maybe I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't be that kind of person. So I'm happy the way I am, and sometimes it pisses people off. That's for sure. But you can't please everybody. That's the way it is. And but yeah, happy to be me.
Have you felt that you said sometimes it pisses people off, sometimes it gets you into trouble, and that would probably be a good explanation of what's happened at times during your NHL career. Have you felt pressure to back off from that? And if you have, has kind of the internal you fought that pressure and, like you said no, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be?
No, I don't think so. I think I've been able to be myself pretty much the whole time I've been in the NHL. I think, well, nobody has ever told me not to be me. That's what got me here, and that's the thing that's going to keep me here. The type of guy and a player I am. So I don't feel like I need to change. Sometimes I'm gonna say something stupid, but usually I'm gonna say sorry afterwards. But I usually don't say something I don't mean. I'm like, you've probably seen it in everybody else, that I'm pretty honest guy. If I'm playing bad, I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna tell you guys that, and yeah, just try to be me and try to be honest with everybody, and yeah, that's just the way I am.
So 2016 was also the last best on best tournament that we saw, the World Cup, and you played as a very young man on Team Finland. I actually flew to Finland and covered you guys at that time, and the storyline coming out of that, it was a real changing of the guard. The Teemu Selanne era had kind of come to an end, and we're moving into, you know, a lot of younger guys. Sebastian Aho spent some time on that team as well. Some of the big names that we talked about weren't even on that team yet. Couple of years have passed now, and we're getting into the meat of that new era of Finnish hockey. How do you think you and your brethren would do in a best on best tournament at this stage?
Well, I think today we would have a really good team if we would take the best guys from Finland and from each country and make a similar tournament. I think we would have a really good team, but so would a lot of other countries. You know, it's if you look at like Canada or Team US, those guys would have like stupid teams. Like, they would have so many good players. Like, they would have so many good names out of those teams. Like, but yeah, that would be fun to play in that kind of tournament. Like, it was an awesome experience for me as an 18-year-old to play in Toronto, play against the young stars, play against all the best players in the world. It was an awesome experience, and hopefully can play a similar tournament in the future.
You know, one of the things I've learned about covering you is when we, you know, ask you a question that basically asks, you know, has your love of goals faded? Are you turning into more of an assist man? And the answer is always, God, no. It's all about the goals for me. I love the goals. You love scoring goals. It's clear. You come into the league and you are a 30-goal man from year one right up until this point. When the season ends, you were on pace for 30 goals again, but you're not at that mark yet. If the season can't resume, we can't figure out a way to play out the rest of the season, and you end up with those 28 goals, how much would that bother you?
A lot. No, yeah, those are just numbers. I would be happy with my season that I played before the suspension. I think I was really happy with the way I was able to play, and not just the points and the goals. I think this year I took a big step towards like a really consistent player, and I was able to close the gap between a good and a bad night. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. But yeah, it's always nice to reach that 30 goal mark, and I wasn't quite there yet this year. It was actually the first year ever that I had more assists than goals. So that's kind of embarrassing for me. But yeah, maybe that's who I am in the future.
Well, to your point, you really did come a long way this season. And I think one of the things that we always talk about is how difficult it can be to come out of the gates and play well when you're dealing with some of the other off-ice stuff. And for you, that was, for you, it was working on your contract last year, and coming late into the season the way that you did. How were you able to come into the season and do so well when something like that can be such a detraction?
Yeah, it was for sure a different situation for me. You know, having been a free agent before, so it was kind of a new situation. But like I said last summer, I wasn't thinking about it at all. I was just focusing on how I can get better and just working out and try to improve. So I think that was the way for me to be successful last year. I was just worrying about the upcoming season. How can I be better, and how can I improve as an all-around player? So I think that was a good summer for me.
In retrospect, and I don't know how often you think about these things, but was the bridge deal the right way to go about things for you?
Yeah, I think in this situation that our team's in and where I'm at, I think it was a good fit. You know, obviously with Dustin's situation and the salary cap, I think it was a good fit for me and the team. I think it was a good deal for both teams, and yeah, but it obviously adds a little bit more pressure for me for the upcoming couple of seasons. That, you know, I gotta play well, but that's just another challenge, and I like challenges, and I like betting on myself that I'm gonna be good for the next 2 years. And yeah, I did have a really good season until the suspension. Hopefully can finish strong if we're able to play this year, and then have another good year.
So what's the next stage for you? Are you looking for a long-term deal?
Well, I think probably everybody wants a long-term deal at some point, but right now, I'm not really thinking about a new deal. Just you know, try to work on my game, and you know, it'll come at some point when you play well and you're proving to everybody that you're worth the big bucks. So that's kind of my focus right now. That I want to play well, want to help the team to win, and you know, everybody likes winners. So that's kind of my focus right now.
So one of the things I notice, I've got nephews, I've got kids. I'll speak at schools every once in a while. And one of the things I've noticed, especially with the younger generation of Winnipeg kids, that the first player they always ask me about is you. You seem to really resonate with that age group, and we've got really great shots of you during pregame warmups and how you interact with the crowd. What do you like about interacting with that age group of fan, and why do you think it is that you so resonate with those fans?
Well, I mean, I love kids. Like it's awesome to you know, sign autographs, to do those like where we go surprise kids in their practice. Like I like that kind of stuff. There's gonna be days when I'm retired and nobody cares about me anymore, and nobody wants pictures. So just try to enjoy it now. And I was a kid too, and if I was able to get an autograph with a Finnish league player or a picture, it was so huge for me. I want to give that feeling to kids, and it doesn't take much for me to sign an autograph or take a picture with them, but it will be they're gonna remember it forever.
When you look back on your short career so far with so much accomplished, what's your favorite moment so far in the league?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Like you said, there's been a lot of those great moments so far, and but I would still say probably my first game, and you know, first goal and first assist in the first game. That's probably something that's been the biggest thing for me. You know, you always play your first game once, and I had my family there watching the game. All my friends watched from back home, so it was awesome. And obviously, getting my first goal and first assist in the first game, it was pretty special and something I'll always remember.
If you take a look at that great season you guys had in 2018, you run into Vegas and lose in the conference finals. There's lessons to be learned in failure. What's the biggest lesson that you take away from that conference final loss to Vegas?
Yeah, it was definitely probably the couple like hardest playoff series losses I've had in my career. It was such a tough one. If I'm being honest, after the first game, I thought it was going to be 4-rip the whole series, and we ended up losing the next 4, and it was over pretty quickly. But I think from that series, I personally learned that you got to be ready every night. You got to be ready every shift, or if you're not, the series is going to be over pretty quickly, like we saw in that series. And having a tough playoff loss next year against a future Stanley Cup winner, it was a tough one too. But that one really hurt everybody in that team against Vegas. But I think we learned a lot in that series that we can take, hopefully to this year's playoffs and to the next year as well. But that was definitely a tough one.
Last one, Patrik. How close do you think your team is to returning to that level of hockey and being, one of the Stanley Cup favorites in the NHL?
Hopefully close. I think we were in a good role before they suspended the season, and we were in the hunt, really fighting for a spot in the playoffs. And I think me and everybody else thought that. I think that's different from the past couple of years when we were easily in the playoffs, so we could just kind of chill like the last 10, 15 games and then really focus on the playoffs. But now this year, we've been already grinding for the last month or so, try to make it to the playoffs, kind of play playoff hockey, even though they're not there yet. So I think that's only going to be a good thing for us that we've played that kind of hockey in advance already. So hopefully we can grind it out and make it to the playoffs, and then after that, the sky's the limit.
Patrik, it's great to see you. I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. You too.